You know that feeling, right? You're just lost in this sea of endless notifications, infinite scrolls, and feeds that an algorithm cooked up just for you. It really feels like we're not in the driver's seat of our own digital lives anymore. But what if we could take back the wheel? Well, there's this growing movement, a whole set of tools and mindsets designed to do exactly that. Today, we're going to dig into how people are reclaiming their digital world, from the content they consume all the way to the code they create. So, does this sound familiar? You open up an app, you have a specific goal in mind, and then an hour later, you find yourself deep down some rabbit hole of recommended content just miles away from where you even started. That feeling of being totally overwhelmed by a chaotic, endless stream of stuff? Yeah, it's not just you. And this quote right here, it just hits the nail on the head. A lot of the time, the chaos is intentional. It's by design. See, platforms are built for engagement, which really just means their number one goal is to keep you on their site for as long as humanly possible. And that often means they're going to prioritize you discovering new content over you enjoying what you already love. It's a fundamental conflict between their goals and, well, yours. So let's start right there with that core dilemma. How are these platforms actually designed, and what kind of effect does that really have on us? I mean, the scale of this is just staggering. YouTube alone has 2.5 billion monthly users. That is a massive, massive audience whose viewing habits are constantly being shaped by an interface that's designed to pull them towards endless discovery instead of just letting them focus on what they want to watch. And this is not a new problem at all. If you go back to 2015, YouTube actually got rid of its collections feature, which let people organize their subscriptions. So when the platform took away that layer of control, the community stepped up. A developer created PocketTube, and today, you've got hundreds of thousands of people who rely on tools just like it to bring some much-needed order back to the chaos. Okay, so if the platforms themselves are literally designed for distraction, how are users fighting back? Well, that brings us to the solutions, starting with the tools people are using to take back control of their feeds. This comparison just lays it out perfectly. On the left, that's the default experience, a chaotic, infinite scroll of what the algorithm thinks you might want to see. But on the right, that's the alternative that tools like PocketTube give you, an experience built around your choices, organized in a way that actually makes sense to you. It's the difference between being a passive consumer and an active curator. So how does it actually work? Well, you can create these subscription groups for specific moods or topics, right? Like learning, comedy, or weekend projects. You can filter out all the stuff you don't want, like shorts or live streams, and you can even use AI to automatically tag channels by genre. It can even help you declutter by finding and unsubscribing from channels that aren't even active anymore. This is what real granular control looks like. Now, this whole idea of reclaiming control, it goes way beyond just consuming content. It's also totally transforming how people create stuff. So let's shift gears a bit and look at the world of software development, where coders are building their own tools to stay focused and efficient. Okay, so meet Claude Code. The best way to think about it is like an AI partner that lives right inside a developer's existing workspace. So instead of constantly switching between a million different windows and tools, which is a huge source of distraction, a developer can just describe what they need, and the AI handles all the routine, time-consuming stuff. So here's what a typical workflow might look like. The AI can read a bug report, write the code it needs to fix it across a bunch of different files, run all the tests to make sure the fix actually works, and then package the whole thing up for a human to review. The entire process gets streamlined, which frees up the developer to focus on the really hard problems instead of the tedious tasks. But, of course, there's a really critical catch here. These AI models can sometimes hallucinate, which is a fantastic word for just making stuff up that sounds plausible but is completely wrong. And that's why that human review step is so important. These tools are amazing assistants, but they're not a replacement for real expertise and oversight. At the end of the day, you're still in control. Developers have other strategies for taking control of their environment too. So imagine you're building an app that relies on some external data, like a weather service. Testing with a live internet connection can be super slow and unpredictable. So the solution is something called mocking an API. You basically create a fake, local version of that weather service that behaves exactly how you need it to, every single time. It's all about removing variables so you can create a stable, focused environment to get your work done. So what does a YouTube organizer and an AI coding assistant really have in common? Well, they're both part of a much bigger shift that's happening. It's not just about individual tools. It's about adopting a strategy-first mindset in how we approach our entire digital lives. And this shift in thinking isn't just for individuals. We're seeing it on a much larger scale, too. Take digital marketing, for instance. The old playbook was all about volume, just cranking out as much content as you possibly could. The new strategy? It's all about building authority and telling compelling stories. It's a move away from just shouting into the void and towards creating real, authentic connections. Even businesses are learning that more isn't always better. So what's the common thread through all of this? Well, whether you're a viewer organizing your subscriptions, a developer automating your workflow, or a business building a marketing plan, the underlying principle is exactly the same. It's a fundamental shift away from passive, reactive consumption and towards active, intentional creation. Ultimately, it's about consciously choosing where you want to focus your attention. Which leaves us with one last question to think about. The tools and platforms we use are only going to get smarter and more persuasive. In a world that is so expertly designed to capture our attention, maybe the most important skill we can have is deciding what's truly worth paying attention to. So how will you stay in the driver's seat?